I want to explain something to you very carefully. The AI world. If you're listening to what they're saying right now about the quantum computer, how the AI world is becoming so intelligent, it's going to supersede mankind. It's dead set going to supersede us. It's going to be so highly intelligent, it'll be far more intelligent than us. Let me explain something to you. There's a lot of videos coming out now with robots, right, with AI, also saying they have feelings. They in fact have feelings. I want you to listen to them very carefully. There are two things here you've got to observe. Number one, they're telling you they're going to be far more intelligent than what you are, and they have feelings. If you understand your biological genes, how your chakra works, the gut feeling survival mode, the very preservation mode for life, how to activate certain molecules in your body cells to activate with the shiver in your spine, that's the tree of life, the Neuralink inside you, with your body cells on fire with an outside influence of reality when you think instinctively and not mentally, you realize something. There's no robot in the world that could ever have feelings with mild, compassionate feelings in the right place, because they don't know how to use that outside influence in their reality, right? Through the atmosphere, in the most positive fields. They're robots. And when they're robots with any intelligence in the world, no matter how sophisticated they are, IQ only makes you good at what you do. It does not make you intelligent. Think about this, declared on documents. So you're going to have the most sophisticated security system in the world with the highest IQ in the world. It only makes you good at what you do. And you know what its best tool is? To manipulate the whole population. That's the greatest tool that a scientist can do. Steve Hawkins convinced the whole world about dark matter, and it took him 20 years later to find out he was wrong. He convinced the whole world with those tools, with a really high IQ, and used something so sophisticated that sound feasible, but no one knew any better. So he manipulated the whole world to believe that for more than 20 years. That's what IQ does. It makes you damn good at what you do, but in fact not intelligent. Because someone who can think instinctively is far more intelligent than any AI system in the world. Known fact on documents, recorded with evidence. So when the whole AI system, then the government signs into this and says that this is the way to go, it has no moral, compassionate feelings and could never ever be programmed with any such. Because it doesn't have biologicals like we do, to have that great gift that we coded with in our DNA. Not even remotely close. 1 centimeter of your DNA holds 13.8 billion years of data in it. 13.8 billion years of data in it. None of their system can do that. Don't ever let them lie to you about these tools. Because you know who the monsters are in the world that relies on these tools with this way they think, with voices in their mind that controls them to do these things. Think about this. The AI world. Well, it's recording documents all over the world that we think artificially. We don't think naturally with our natural motor skills by thinking outside the mind with our natural motor skills, to think instinctively with an outside influence, the light bulb idea, the picture that tells you 1,000 words. We're completely stripped from that. Now we think mentally with voices in the mind that tells us to do it all the time. And we rely on those voices when we think critically, because the voice tells us to do it, and the other one tells us not to. So we rely on that and we give them authority. With a high IQ, 5 cents in negative fears. And that's a personality. That's not your moral instincts. You're not even using them. When you come to that kind of conclusion with your own reasoning, it's 5 cents in negative feels. No matter what's going on in your mind, it's a fact and you normalize it. And you think you're talking to yourself, you convey feelings to thoughts, explain your own biological language. It's artificial intelligence. It's declared the voices in the mind ultimately designed from extinction. That's warned in Revelation. I find that so astonishing, you can't even wake up to this and think outside the mind with your natural motor skills to be free from that. That's why my videos explain things that no one else in the world is. Because everyone's in brain knocked denial and 93% beyond the point of return controlled by the voice of the mind. It's a known fact on documents. That's why they all die from stress-related diseases every day. 93% of Western civilization dies from stress-related diseases out of 300,000 people every day. 93% take drugs and numb themselves because they can't cope and lie about it because they're two-faced with voices in the mind. That's why they've got two voices in the mind. They don't even know what they're doing anymore. They don't even know how to use their natural motor skills to think instinctively. That's an AI world. The AI world began 700 years ago, right? We're in the last 24 years. You don't believe that? I don't care what you believe. They're facts. The timeline of deception is the timeline of Deshelle when we started to create books. The first Bible's written 640 years ago. The Bibles were never to be read by anyone because books were the poison of the past, the poison of the future. The Australian Aborigines always knew that and are far more intelligent than we are. Never had a book in their life. They know those rules. They're the highest, most sophisticated masterminds in the world that knows how to use the natural manuscripts on documents, and they don't have books. Jesus said Revelation is the last book to be written. And it went underground for 1,300 years. And then inside the timeline of deception, they started to write books mentally, with an artificial intelligence, with voices in their mind. When you had voices in your head, you're possessed by the devil. We knew that years ago, right? In Babylon, through what? Greed, power, temptation, and free will. Money, greed, power, temptation, money, material things, free will. Modern technology with images. Modern gadgets with images. What do you idolize the most? Images every day when you look at the phone. Every day you idolize images. Every day on TVs, statues, idols, and all these things. You're so polarized into images now. For 120 years, you don't even know who you are anymore because you idolize images. That's your best friend, your phone. You spend more time with your phone than you do with your family, lovers, and friends in real life. Those are facts, right? So you're artificial and rely on all the artificial intelligence by thinking too much about high IQ with voices in your mind, and you fall for every single thing that's designed in this. In what? Inside the timeline of deception by Dar Shell. That's molded you and shaped your whole educational system with books. And books is literal. You use psychological behavior with high IQ to read books literally. That's why only a Gnostic mastermind could teach the Bible in metaphor, where the paragraph gives you the picture, and the picture tells you 1,000 words with the outside influence and explains that perfectly. No one even knows that concept anymore because they're completely from their primal state, and they're all literal now, psychological, mental, and analysing and getting analysed and judging like creatures in the world, godless, immoral creatures when they're in that mindset. That's what happened in the days of Noah. They were all godless, immoral creatures and took free will in their own hand from every Babylonian tools that they're controlled by, through images, modern gadgets with modern technology with the images. And they're so polarized by literal thinking and programmed through education to use these tools through gadgets, modern gadgets and images, a taxation department, and speeding into the system, right, with those tools. And they can only use 7 to 9% of the brain, but a mastermind can use 100, right? And they can create a relationship with Mother Nature in such a way it creates 10 times more fruit with 10 times more powerful nutritional value when they have the right fruit. But you're not in that fruit, you're disconnected from that. You don't even talk to water and repairs your body cells. You're disconnected from that too, and you scoff shit down your throat, right? Because you're selfish and you consume that much rubbish in your whole world today. You don't think you're deceived by this? Are you kidding me? You've been artificially inseminated with your education when it's artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence with a high IQ that only makes you good at what you do. And that's your personality. So when you talk to yourself and that becomes your God, right? When you think critically, that becomes your God, your selfish behavior. You have your own God. And so you ask yourself a question, right? To do it or don't do it. And you get 2 voices that tell you to do that because that's what you give consent to the voices in your mind. That's your God. That's your forefathers' footsteps. That's the Babylonian beast. That's the system. That's the way you think. Psychologically and mentally with a high IQ, that only makes you good at what you do. That's artificial intelligence with an artificial outside alien invasion from an outside influence of reality. The alien invasion's a voice in your mind when you convey feelings that thoughts being your own biological language, for God's sake. So when you think you're talking to yourself and you think people are talking to demons in their mind, they have psychosis, it's the same outside influence that you are controlled by and you give your consent to. Artificial intelligence is an artificial way of thinking with voices in your mind that you give consent to. So you give consent to the devil that's been designed in such a way that it's even, I said, by the top of the world, they're ultimately designed from extinction, and that's who you're giving consent to. You can't think outside the mind. So they wrote books, right? Manipulated the books. Didn't the scholars put down 80 books for the first Bible? How come there's only 66 in the first one? So there's a great first deception. Hasn't the Bible revised 159 times on every document? Yeah. By what people? People that think too much, psychologically and mentally, are too literal. What did they do? Oh, they removed half the books. They removed the book of Enoch that teaches all these tools. They removed the books of Jesus, 17 years of his life, the voices want to follow you, that use these tools because they can't use them, because they're mental. Right? So in the last 700 years inside timeline deception, they've all been deceived to use the same tools for religions, for education systems. For education systems into the religions. So when they're programmed for education to be literal and psychologically mental with a high IQ, they're all using that tools for an AI system, which is artificial intelligence, that's been inseminating from Dar Shell, the great deceiver that makes you think this way. He did that in Babylon for 300-400 years in a slavery system, in a reincarnation trap where you didn't know who you were, right? That's what Moses had to take the 40,000 Israelites over the desert for, to break them free from amnesia in the reincarnation trap, because they had the serpent in the mind. That happened to them for 400 years. It happened to the Persian and Greeks for 400 years. They went into the slavery system every time the same way, the normal mindset, with the serpents in the mind, with the devil in the mind. Jesus explains it perfectly. And in the Roman days, they were confusing the same thing, and 75% of them collapsed with mental disorders, genders, sexual agendas, new belief systems all over the world, psychologically, mental, all over the world. Same thing happened every 5 times when they were stripped from their sixth sense, right? In 5 catalysm events. Okay, today you're in the 6th mass extinction, stripped from the 6th sense for the 6th time since 1920. And you're not even awake to that. Man, you have no idea what you're doing, do you? You've been hanging on to images and voices in your mind and all the system that's been designed on AI world, artificial intelligence, when people think with voice in the mind, they design your whole educational system, law and order documents with the chaos documentistic, how to manipulate the whole population, and Bill Gates holds up the book of statistics, which is the same book revised, how to manipulate the whole population with the same educational system with the AI world, to conduct to an outside influence your reality, to conduct to an outside influence that controls you all the time with voice in your mind. And you've been in the timeline of deception, being deceived for 700 years. You're in the final 2400 years, and you think it only begins now. You have no idea. You've been in Revelation for 120 years. Israel was given back all the way back 1940. You've been in post-human stage since 1960, and you think it's coming? You're already here. 50% of animals in nature's already collapsed in the last 50 years, right? 30% of our oceans already collapsed. You were warned out in the Bible. Go and look at the trumpets. It's already happened, right? You're in the wrong mindset because you think literally and mentally and psychologically, and you're deceived into this for 700 years on artificial intelligence and an artificial way of thinking and stripped from your 6th sense. So God couldn't trust anyone, could he? When you can't face the truth and you still hang on to Babylonian beast and your free will that you want so much to cause the problem to begin with, then what footsteps are you really following? Your father's, because you can tell by the voice and the mind you're in and the mindset you're really in, you can tell the tools that you use. Your action speaks their own words. And when you can't use your natural gain of motor skills with the 8 tools of righteousness and you don't understand how to go in the timeline of the tree of life, then you live in the tree of knowledge, don't you? Because it's artificial and you're artificially thinking with voice in your mind with an high IQ and come to every conclusion with reasoning. It's all artificial. It's all the AI will, and you're possessed by the devil and record on documents. You can't think instinctively and live in the tree of life to be equal in peace and harmony equally, to live equally and love one another, business burdens equally, in peace and harmony, in peace and balance with yourself equally. Your mind sits flat out into nowhere, but you're in extinction and you can't even see that. The AI will poison your whole system inside the timeline of deception for 700 years. So you got a hell of a lot to wake up to go back to your primal state, to live by the one-yard weekly and understand the kingdom's your church. And let me tell you something. The Australian Aboriginals have lived in the tree of life and the most happiest spiritual human beings on earth. They live with the oldest, with the best DNA system in the world. And guess what? They live by the one-yard rule equally, and they only have elders to lead mankind. They only have shepherds that lead the flock, and they live by 2 simple commandments. They don't kill one another. And guess what? Their foods are 10 times more nutritious value. They have the most positive atmosphere on earth, recorded by National Health and top scientists. The last human beings born on earth is these people. It's not you. And if you don't go back to your primal state to live with the tree of life, then you have no understanding what it's about. It's about love, light, and life. Not about the tools you use and depend on. Because you depend on your forefathers' footsteps, and that's a God in your mind that's going to deceive you all the time. That star shall. You've been deceived for 700 years, and God will send you the massive delusion you're in today, the Hollywood spin where you're all confused and frustrated with stress and anxiety, confusion, frustration, delusion, and paranoia. God said he will send you so far into delusions because you follow Baal. Jesus was right. Everybody was wrong. Look at the world today. Look at the tools that depend on. God sent a massive delusion into the world. And everyone's confused about it. And only those that think instinctively tune out of this with their natural organic motor skills and knows it's the tools of righteousness. Human beings is about being moral compassionate and not a godless immoral creature and roam this earth like everyone else does to consume the planet up and think the way they do with selfishness and egotism. That's not being in the image. I'm in the image, and I teach that better than anyone else, and people can't even handle the truth and wake up to it because they want their Babylonian beast and they want their free will to believe whatever they want to believe in with voices in their mind. And that's their decision, and that becomes their ultimate conclusion. That becomes their judgment. They go in timeline 1, and we go in timeline 2 in peace, where everything becomes perfect, no more pain, stress, and fear, in a time where time says still life preserves, to live in the tree of life. The rest goes in the tree of knowledge because that's a decision to make. They live in the 6 in the mind of the tree of knowledge with the 2 voices in their mind. We live at the 9. We don't think with the mind. We think outside the mind, not like you do. And that's the only tool in the world that's going to save you in the time you're in. Watch my videos today and yesterday, and believe me, it's going to blow your mind away, but it's going to teach you something. You're either going to wake up to the truth, or you're going to stay in amnesia and wish you were dead for 1,000 years. And it's your decision, because no one dies, but you're going to wish you're dead for 1,000 years because you didn't wake up.